Dello looked at Paige Bueckers and said, hell no, I'm good on that. Damn, you hate to see it, but you love to see it. Sandy Brondello gets offered a big contract, more money than she took at the Toronto Tempo, to come to Dallas and coach one Paige Bueckers, and Sandy Brondello said, you know what? I'm good on that. I'll take my talent.
All right, so Sandy Brondello has this enormous contract from the Dallas Wings in front of her. We are discussing more money than she actually stole from anyone. Coaching this generational talent, Paige Bueckers, was the foundation of their entire presentation. But here's the thing, she declined. The WNBA was completely taken aback by the outright denial. Given the amount of money involved, everyone assumed she would accept such an offer. However, Brondello just took a new turn, leaving Dallas and its star player utterly taken aback. For her, this went beyond simply getting a new job. It made a significant statement about her priorities. Everyone was genuinely curious about what was actually happening and what it meant for league coaching.
Reports come out, the Dallas Wings will keep head coach Chris Conclains, whatever his name is, heading into his second season as the coach. Fast forward 24 hours, Sandy Brondello was fired as the New York Liberty coach. Fast forward 24 hours after that, Chris, you've been relieved of your duties. We are going after Sandy Brondello. Let's get right into it. Please like the video, comment, subscribe. I appreciate all of the support we've been getting this off season. Sandy Brondello turned down more money to coach the Tempo. Uh-oh.
Look, as soon as Brondello became available, the Dallas Wings gave it their all. Only a few days after the New York Liberty let her go, they made an extremely swift and significant move. And here's the stunning news. Chris Conklin, the Wings' own head coach, was sacked. It wasn't an accident. Dallas's perception of Brondello as the missing piece was quite evident. That winning coach that could use Paige Bueckers' extraordinary talent to improve their entire team. Despite their intense persistence and unquestionably substantial offer, they ultimately failed to win her over.
Appreciate all of the support we've been getting this off season. Sandy Brondello turned down more money to coach the Tempo. Uh-oh. Two-time championship winning coach Sandy Brondello had her own free agency experience this fall after the New York Liberty fired her in September, less than a year removed from leading the franchise to its first title. New York still hasn't signed a head coach. Remember how they made it seem like they had some NBA talent lined up? Some possibles all ready to backfill? Seems like the general manager of the New York Liberty were blowing smoke up y'all asses.
After being unexpectedly fired by the New York Liberty in September, Brondello found herself in a very special position in free agency. Consider it. She had really guided the Liberty to their first-ever championship less than a year prior. Many in the league were utterly perplexed by such decision. However, a full-fledged bidding war broke out when one of the WNBA's most renowned and accomplished coaches became available. Her skills was in high demand, and almost every organization that had a vacancy called. Recognizing that this was a unique opportunity to get a proven winner and a complete strategic genius.
Some possibles all ready to backfill? Seems like the general manager of the New York Liberty were blowing smoke up y'all asses. We're what, a month removed from that now? 3 weeks removed from that now? And we still haven't figured out who the head coach of the New York Liberty is going to be? Did the person who they had pegged say, I'm good, the NBA season's about to start, I'll just stay here? What's going on there in New York? And is the GM going to be on the hot seat? I'm seeing things about Breanna Stewart and Jonquil Jones. I'll dive into that maybe later, maybe tomorrow, maybe never.
In the meanwhile, after Brondello was fired, things in New York became extremely strange. The Liberty front management gave the impression that they had NBA-caliber talent waiting for them. An abundance of top coaches who are prepared to take over. However, weeks and even months passed, and the head coaching position remained enigmatic. It appeared as though the general manager was spewing smoke because of that stark emptiness. You know, it really began to cast doubt on the team's ability to draw in elite players, which put the general manager under intense scrutiny. Everyone anticipated a speedy settlement, but it never materialized.
Franchises Brondello received offers from, according to multiple sources: the Wings, the Storm, and the Toronto Tempo. Indeed. Just like any other top free agent, Brondello had to outline her priorities. For some, the top priority is location. For others, it's money. And then there are those who only care about fit and winning. In the end, Brondello fell into the latter category. Despite receiving a more lucrative offer from another WNBA suitor, according to multiple sources, Brondello accepted the Tempo job because of the collaboration she felt with the team's front office. How do we know?
3 major WNBA teams were the frontrunners for Brondello as her coaching free agency heated up: Toronto Tempo, the Seattle Storm, and the Dallas Wings. Each of them had a very strong pitch and, more significantly, a considerable financial advantage. They were all vying for the opportunity to add her championship background to their group. Every front office was vying for this highly sought-after coach by outlining their goals and offering better terms. Brondello was one of the most influential people that offseason since she had complete control over the choice. However, this is the problem.
Sources told Front Office Sports she signed a multi-year contract that pays her 7 figures. This will make her one of the highest paid coaches in the WNBA, joining Nate Tibbetts and Las Vegas Aces coach Becky Hammon as the 3 known coaches in the league earning at least $1 million salary. Former Liberty assistant Sonia Rahman was hired by the Seattle Storm, and while the terms of her deal have not been disclosed, league sources told Front Office Sports that her multi-year deal has a high 6-figure yearly salary with the potential to eclipse $1 million with bonuses. Could it have been the Seattle?
But Brondello wasn't merely pursuing the highest salary or the most attractive city. She took the time to list her top priorities. Furthermore, money and the team's location were not the only deciding considerations for her. She is the type of coach who prioritizes fitness and success over all other considerations, constantly searching for a cooperative setting and a genuine opportunity to influence a team's destiny. Her unexpected decision was ultimately motivated by her dedication to a certain goal rather than merely financial gain, which left one prominent suitor perplexed following her rejection.
Let me show you. This is the place I wanted to be, Brondello said Tuesday. To build a team from the ground up, that really excited me. She could have built the team from the ground up with Dallas, with Paige and Quinterly, and gutted the whole roster. But she chose to do it in Toronto. Again, could that logic apply to Seattle? It could. But based on Nneka Ogwumike's...
In the end, Brondello chose the head coaching position with the Toronto Tempo despite a more lucrative offer from another WNBA team. Everyone believes it was the Dallas Wings. Her strong feeling of teamwork with Toronto's front office was her primary motivation for this unanticipated transfer. She found that the mutual respect, the common vision, and the intangible connection were far more valuable than any bigger pay offered by other franchisees. It was evident that alignment and the capacity to genuinely create a program from the ground up were crucial to Brondello.
Who are worse than the veterans that I was just coaching? Why would I go to Ogwumike, who's worse than Stewart? Why would I go to Skylar, who's worse than Sabrina? Why would I go to Ezzy, who's worse than Jonquil Jones? Why would I do that? Yes, Andy, why would you do that? Why would you do that? I would trade my whole team for her, but here we have no thanks. I'll take less money. I thought Paige had motion. Yeah, everybody knows that it's Paige. Everybody knows that it was the Dallas Wings. I mean, we can try to make it seem like the Seattle Storm.
Okay. Although the specifics of Brondello's historic contract with the Toronto Tempo were not made public, insiders have confirmed that it is a multi-year agreement that pays her an incredible 7-figure income. She becomes one of the top-paid coaches in the WNBA as a result of this huge deal, which instantly improves her standing. It truly demonstrates Toronto's dedication, but it also draws attention to the enormous deal she declined from Dallas, making her choice even more shocking to someone who is only concerned with the money. With this hefty Toronto contract, Sandy Brondello joins an exclusive group of WNBA coaches. She now stands next to Aces players like Becky Hammond and Nate Tibbetts. Being one of the few coaches, this financial acknowledgement validates her status as a coaching giant in the game, where she is known to earn at least $1 million annually. However, it also adds to the mystery of why she declined an even larger offer from Dallas. It raises serious questions regarding the genuine motivations for such an extraordinary action. Now, a big play for Brondello was also made by the Seattle Storm. They swiftly changed course once she selected Toronto and hired Sonka Johnson, a former assistant at Liberty. Although the details of her multi-year contract were not made public, league insiders claimed that it included a high six-figure compensation that might reach over $1 million. Incentives for performance. This simply demonstrated Seattle's willingness to make significant investments in elite coaching talent. Brondello's free agency was quite competitive. So why, in spite of the Seattle Storm's alluring offer and obvious financial commitment, did Brondello not select them? According to reports, the coach herself thought Seattle was a less desirable location. In fact, she thought it was worse than even her recently departed Liberty squad. Going from a championship contender to a team that, in Brondello's opinion, wasn't prepared for quick success with its existing squad just didn't make strategic sense. Money or not, she just had no interest in going back. She made it a priority. Mrs. Brondello's extremely frank evaluation of the Seattle roster demonstrated her unwavering dedication to creating a successful team. In contrast to her former squad, she allegedly questioned the caliber of Seattle's older players, essentially posing the question, why would I choose an easy Magnagor who is worse than John Quell Jones? Why would I visit a Jewel Lloyd who is inferior than Sabrina Yanth? This frank honesty revealed her opinion that the Seattle Storm was a non-starter for her because they lacked the fundamental skills she required to contend for a title right away. Brontel's declared ambition to create a team from the ground up had a significant role in her decision-making process. She made it very clear, said she was actually thrilled about the possibility to genuinely design a franchise's brand and lineup. This is the place I wanted to be, Brondello said of Toronto, emphasizing her love of coaching's developmental component. This vision was more than simply a talking point. It ultimately influenced her decision in favor of the tempo and served as a fundamental tenet that guided her whole free agency. Here's what's interesting. In Dallas, there was also a great chance to assemble a team from the bottom up. Because of this, Brondello's rejection is even more puzzling. Dallas offered a clear route to success with a key player like Paige Bueckers and other young, talented players like Eric Gonbovali and Satu Sabali. Create a roster according to Brondello's requirements. There was the foundation for her vision. Even with the attraction of a generational star, she decided against going with what appeared to be Toronto's best option. The Dallas Wings were certain that Paige Bueckers was a true generational talent. They had a very clear plan. To carefully construct the entire franchise around her, choose the greatest coach available, transforming her potential into championship success. They were willing to spend any amount necessary to hire a premier coach, specifically Brondello, to carry out their plan. This steadfast dedication to Paige and the substantial financial support demonstrated Dallas's strong belief in her future and their mutual potential. Even if the Dallas Wings' conviction that Paige Bueckers is a generational talent and their readiness to provide the top coaching free agent in the WNBA a premium contract, Sandy Brondello responded bluntly, "No, I'm good on that." Money wasn't the only reason behind this refusal. Brondello's evaluation of the circumstances and her priorities were made rather evident. Uncomfortable considerations concerning the relative strength of individual skill versus a coach's strategic vision and desire for a certain organizational fit are raised by the fact that a supposedly generational star was unable to draw in the most sought-after coach available. Many would have believed that coaches were almost dying to work with a player of Paige Bueckers' generation, especially in light of the lucrative offer. However, Brondello exceeded all expectations, rejecting the opportunity to coach what Dallas claimed to be the league's next big star in addition to more money. Her choice clearly conveyed a message. If the overall fit and winning conditions aren't exactly in line with their personal and professional objectives, even the most highly anticipated individual skill won't be enough to entice a top coach. Sandy Brondello's astounding denial of large sums of money and the chance to coach Paige Bueckers wasn't just a selfish professional decision, despite the huge financial incentive. It was a turning point that genuinely changed the landscape of WNBA coaching. It revealed more profound realities about what coaches really appreciate in addition to the highest salary, highlighting the vital importance of genuine winning potential, a clear strategy for team formation, and organizational cooperation. In addition to forcing teams to reconsider their recruitment tactics, this momentous ruling provided a unique window into the intricate relationships between ambition, power, and money in professional sports.